But anyways, though, I'm gonna go ahead and head to the next one. I wonder what happened to Amber. She done vanished. She out there now. We only got one woman now. It's crazy. They was outnumbering us. Now they don't drop. Solo, you actually are solo now.
I see.
Oh boy. But anyways, uh, we're gonna go ahead and start with you though, and I'll just let the chat help you
Mm-hmm.
out in here.
Oh,
Do you feel like, in your opinion, that the men in today's society, more particularly the black ones, I guess you can say men in the general, because I think both cases on the topics is a general men and a general woman issue, but we're just more so dealing with us. But do you feel like the men are a little too um too feminine these days?
that's a tough question because I really like to hold it down for black men. I really like to.
We love
And
you
I,
too.
I usually like to back them up. I
But
want to say, this is what I want to say. I want to say that, of course, I do not encounter majority of black men in the world. Let's just say it's 15 million black men. I do not come in contact with them to be able to determine, yes, I went through 15 million of y'all, and I determined that majority of y'all, based on my calculations, are more feminine than I would like, right? So I can't make a generalization like that, right? I will say that there appears to be a phenomenon of a lot of feminine men who appears to be all in our face as far as social media wise, and that may give you the perception that a lot of black men are feminine. I do think that a lot of times, a lot men who sit sort of who gossips per se, they tend to be more in our social media presence. If they're bashing black women, they tend to go viral. They seem to get more attention when they sort of are acting a little feminine. And I would say feminine as when I mean that they be sitting around sort of gossiping about other women or bashing over the women, trying to embarrass women. I consider those little acts like that feminine. So that's sort of my description of what you mean when you say sort of feminine. I also think that we can't really fault them, right? Because a lot of them was raised by their mothers. So we still have to go back to the system and not these individual black men. But so I'm going to say that you may have the perception, but I don't think that most black men, I think that they have a lot of different mindsets nowadays as it compares to the traditional sort of family dynamic. I think that's sort of all screwed up. But I don't think that majority of black men are too feminine these days.
oh shit. So hold on. He just said I seen a girl say on Twitter that men can't order strawberry lemonade.
I
I
mean,
think go ahead, go ahead.
I don't know. I can't say most black men can't order a lemonade, a 12 count in a lemonade, because I have not encountered all the black men and made that determination, right? But I will say that a lot these issues that women have with black men, something like that, like they're not leading in that instance about ordering their food because why you can't do that as an adult. But I think that those issues like that are gets more attention when things like that, and it'll make you assume after you see three different women online talking about how their man won't lead, you would come to the conclusion a lot of these women in relationships with men, their men are not leading them, they're leading the men, right? So I think that a lot of issues, stereotypes about our men get put down our throat through social media, and then we assume that majority of the black men, I could imagine the majority of black men ain't on social media.
Okay, so let me. I got to get some clarity with you. So when you say social media, are we speaking of platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or are we speaking of YouTube, TikTok, and all of that as well? All you put all of that in the same thing?
Yeah. I think that all of these social media websites, you see, if you're like, if it's something bad, if it's something negative about our men, you as a black woman, you definitely, it's definitely coming down your timeline. Or if you see black men doing something that just maybe out, or what you consider to be bashful, because I consider that to be feminine, but that seems to be, go viral. So you would make that conclusion based on what you see on social media, but you haven't encountered most
So
black men
basically, what
outside of
you're
social
saying
media.
is I should start cooking girls on this platform to go viral more.
I mean, that's where the clicks and the views are.
Just play. I'm just playing. I don't know. I mean, for me, like I said, my thing is I'm gonna always be honest and hold them accountable. But yeah, I will say certain guys I think do deliberately just attack. Like for instance, Myron, this nigga just attacked, particularly black women out of nowhere for no reason, just because.
Yes.
Now I can agree with you on that shit, but also I think when it comes to like you just telling them what it is and stuff like that, that's just you. Because I think certain men are doing it generally to try to help, and certain ones just do it for clicks and views. So it is a difference. But Taj, what do you have to say on it?
No, as a man, just set your boundaries, regardless who the chick is. Sometimes we're attracted to some chicks more than others. But I've learned throughout my experiences, don't compromise your boundaries, whatever those boundaries are. When a female or a lady starts rebelling against that, you got to be disciplined and strong enough to let her ass leave. Let her, hey, if you ain't gonna respect, because at the end of the day, the one thing no female in this world, even outside of our culture, and I'm gonna say lady, not female, because a female could be an animal. One thing a lady or a woman can't get around is that when we step out in the public together, if a threat came at us, the man is expected to step up and put his life on the line, whether he kill or die. And no lady in this world could get around that. So the question becomes, how much is that worth to you? And when I say you, I'm talking about the women. How much is that done, or are you just dating men to sacrifice them anyway? You see what I'm saying? So the most black men understand we're at war with one of the strongest oppressors in human history. So a lot of us, when we're done doing battle, whether it's in society, at work, when we get around a chick, we just want to relax and chill. So is that what you call effeminate?
Solo, I'm guessing that's directed to you.
No, I mean, no, of course not. If you want to sit at home and chill, that's not feminine.
After doing battle. Like it ain't no joy. The average. Let me say this real quick for Keela and all everybody else online. When after the George Floyd demise, this really shocked me. We were expecting like all the hoodlums and the thugs and the bangers and all that to hit the streets. It was you had more, I guess what y'all would call feminine dudes out there on the battlefield than the niggas who we thought was gonna be on our front lines. So when we need that masculinity, and I ain't gonna even put the toxin on there. Where was it? And we could just rewind time 5 years ago. Some people argue, man, them niggas ain't come out until it was time to loot some of the stores. No, but what about when we needed them on the battlefield, of that uprising that just happened in 2020? So, shit. Yeah, so my view sort of shifted. Like, damn, maybe them niggas don't have our back. The so-called toxic masculinity dudes. So when we really need y'all out there to go up against this oppressor, where y'all at? And you got the dudes who you would call feminine out there in the mix, putting their bodies on the line, because life goes on. So that's my views shifted after that George Floyd era. When I saw that I mean, even when you looked on the news, we was like, damn, what the hood niggas at? And them niggas
I
wasn't
think it
out there
just
until it was
depends on
time to go
what.
loot some stores.
I think it depends on what area.
The whole
Like I told
country.
you,
It was
nah,
up. It was uprisings across the country, and what they're basically saying is the
because
tough
everybody don't
dudes.
feel like that they had nothing to do with me. Like for instance, me myself, I don't feel like they had shit to do with me. So no, I wasn't going out there. I'll say it.
Okay.
But like I said, if it's something
So
that I
Jamie,
think
how did that not have anything to do
Get
with
him
you?
for
What happened
Keela.
with
Get him for Keela.
George
For
Floyd?
Keela.
How can
Get
you
him.
I'm
say
a,
that has nothing to do with
Get him
you?
for. Get him for better you than
because
me.
I'm
Please
not about to
Get
go
him.
explain.
out there and do no damn marching for nobody just because they're saying, oh, let's do it. Because this is the thing, this marching and all this stuff that they're doing, typically it's the same old shit. You're gonna do that shit and then stop.
Okay, so Jamie, what else? Give what else can we do?
So, like I said, what I was getting ready to direct it to is I've seen performances and stuff like that where it was like something such as police brutality. I think for Keela, you probably was in Phoenix during this time. I seen this shit in Memphis with my own eyes. This is not me just going by what hearsay. I was there for it. I was I was there when we started the meeting on Facebook. In fact, matter of fact, if I went to my Facebook and dig for it, I probably can show you the messages right now of us gang members talking about what we're gonna do before we did it. And then we did it. On July the 11th, 2016, like I keep saying, I'll never forget the date. All of us, when once police brutality was starting to kick it up, all of us said, bro, we don't care if you GD, Blood, Vice Lord, GD, all of us gonna be in one unit for this particular thing, bro. Like no fighting, no shooting. We're not going against each other at all today. And we went and went. Keela, you been from Memphis, you know what I'm talking about. How in Memphis, the bridge that connects Arkansas, Mississippi, and Memphis. We went there and we went to the bridge and stuff like that. And we basically was like raising hell there and letting, and then the police was confused. They were like, what do y'all want? What they were begging us to leave. It was so bad that they had to ask reinforcements from Arkansas and Mississippi to come and try to help them. And it still wasn't enough because it was like minimum 1,500 of us. Minimum. So what I'm saying is stuff like that. I think the George Floyd situation, obviously it was wrong and it was unfortunate. But like, bro, they only came out there because the shit was pushed by a certain group of people, bro. Like Black Lives Matter, bro. It's not for us. That shit was a group that was built by these same people that are oppressing us to start shit. Particularly, I'll go ahead and call the source out. Democrats stage that shit. They do it. If y'all pay attention, each time an election is coming up, each time an election is coming up, they do this.
Okay, so can I jump in?
Sure.
So you explaining to us why George Floyd has nothing to do with you, right?
I'm explaining why I was saying I stayed in and didn't get involved with it. Because I've been to so many of them and them niggas will do that shit and then stop. That's why I was like, bro, I'm not about to go and risk myself and stuff like that for something that is just going to probably be over in the next day. Like the marching phase of me is done. I've done it too much. This is what, 20,
But
20,
that doesn't mean that
21,
the George
20.
Floyd shit didn't have nothing to do with you, Jamie. The police brutality has everything to do with every black man that walk around in this country. That is a problem that we're gonna have to address.
All right, then let's go ahead and let's do it. Because like
Yeah,
I told you,
for Keela, I tell Jamie often in our prep calls, I say, man, I like the way for Keela think. The feeling don't have to be mutual, but no, I've done what 2, 3, 4 shows with you, and I really appreciate the way you think and speak. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's something that we gonna have to fight to the end. Otherwise, they gonna continue to kill us out here in the streets.
see, that's the
And,
thing.
yeah.
I'm not saying we ain't got to fight it. What I am saying is I am not for the damn going up and marching and hands up, don't shoot that bullshit. I'm not with that. That's what
What's
I
the
am
what's the,
saying.
What's the alternative, Jamie? We need
Right.
all
Yeah,
thoughts on.
if you really gonna be about it, be about it. If you were
What
saying,
that mean?
I'm for
if
real,
you
for
were
Keela. You
going
be
out there,
for Keela, like, what the hell that mean?
if y'all allow me to fucking speak, you'll
No,
see.
but just straight talk, bro. We see we dying out here, and you talking about, oh yeah, man.
You're
Our people
right,
need to
but
hear
that shit doesn't
what's the
do
alternative.
anything.
We don't.
It's just
Yeah,
talking,
we
bro.
don't
That's the
need
same thing we were
riddles.
doing
We don't
50
need
years
riddles,
ago.
Jamie.
We were
No,
doing
but
that
that
15
George
years
Floyd,
ago.
no, that George Floyd shit was different. That shit hit different, bro. And everybody was out there except the niggas who we expected to come and kind of have, the our community back. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but no, get back. I don't want you to get off your thought. What's the alternative?
Like I was getting ready to say, if it was different, and these folks say, "Hey, we don't have enough, bro. Fuck it, we just gonna come with the smoke." I'll be with that. At
What
least
the
you
smoke?
actually dying for something
What does smoke
or
mean?
getting arrested for something.
Oh my
Not
god,
just this marching and going
come
out and
on,
just
bro.
yelling.
So when you say smoke, again, we need straight words, bro. So when you say smoke, you mean like some
Nick,
violent
I'm
shit?
talking about real. Like for instance, we're like, bro, we're done talking. We just gonna go in and start. Come on, this is YouTube. I can't say certain
Yeah,
stuff. They
good.
gonna
Hey,
press the
so
button.
you went far enough. Good luck with that
Okay.
shit, bro. Good luck with you and all the niggas who crazy enough to go out there with that mentality, homie. You in the most powerful country in the world, and you think that they want us to do shit like
So
that, so
what
they
is
can mow
marching
our ass
gonna
down.
do? That's what I'm saying. What is
What the
marching gonna do?
different what George Floyd taught us is that because it was more than just us out there, and that's the first time in American history you ever seen a police station get burnt down. Now, it's a reason for that. And part of that reason is that more than just our community was out there. And it was almost like the other communities that came to join us. They're like, yo, let us show y'all really how to do this shit. And them motherfuckers burnt that Minneapolis police station down. We can't claim credit for that. The black community can't claim credit for that one. Now,
And
we
what
got
I'm
to.
telling you, I'm not saying none of this didn't happen, but this is what
Mhm.
I am telling you is that they push that same agenda each and every election. That's what I'm trying to say. I can go down the line,
No,
starting
but
with the one that just happened. There are events similar to that happen every damn 4 years.
we're
It's an
familiar
agenda.
with we familiar with that, Jamie. But you talking about going out there with smoke, and it's like
I'm
how
saying if you're gonna
we've
do
tried.
something about it,
We
do the whole
Jamie,
thing. What?
Jamie, we
Okay,
tried
so
that
look,
too. We've
so let me
tried
ask you
that.
this. Let me ask you this. If the people that you love, the ones that's in the southern areas,
Uh
that's you know who I'm talking about, them
huh.
people
Yeah,
was getting that done to them, what you think they would do?
they gonna do what they historically did. They gonna do what they did on January 6th. We
That's
could
what I'm
call them out.
saying.
One thing about them people, and they got the whole country in fear. I ain't gonna say their ancestors, they great grandparents. They're the only ethnic culture in this country that ever tried, I gotta choose my words carefully, to overthrow this country in the Civil War. And the people who you saw on January 6th are their great grand descendants, really their great grandchildren.
Facts.
Oh,
Facts.
thanks for Keela. So they're
Facts.
showing, and y'all from the South. I'm from the South too, South Florida. That ain't deep South like Memphis, Georgia, and all that. But what do white folks in the South say? The South will rise again, and that's what they showed the whole world on January 6th. Nigga, we'll take this shit over. Keep play with us if y'all want to. Now I'm talking
Okay, so
like
what I'm saying is why can't we do the same?
because we would get mowed down, and we know that, Jamie. Come on, bro, you tripping.
No, I think
If
it's
we
just fear,
try to
bro.
do that shit,
I
if
think
we
it's
try to
fear.
do that,
I think
Jamie,
it's
if
fear.
we try to do that shit that happened on January 6th, boy, it'd be a bloodbath, bro. And you
I
know that.
think it's fear, bro. I really do.
Okay, it ain't. You sure? People get fear and wisdom mixed up
Because
sometimes.
the group
How
that
you
you're
know it
talking
ain't?
about is not that big either.
No, but listen, the rednecks have. Let's just call the name out. I don't think that ain't no racial slur. The rednecks got the whole white America in check, bro. Why do you think that dude? Why do you think that dude who just shot Charlie Kirk shot him from a distance? Let's talk about it. That dude. So the radical liberals, they don't have the toughness to take on the Southern whites face to face, chest to chest. So they sniping their ass, and I'm saying that respectfully. So the radical liberal who now they could be classified as feminine men too, but you see what the hell that dude did, and guess what that dude said when they took his ass to the station? Some hate cannot be negotiated with. So he done already told him, yeah, I did it, and here's my manifesto for it. Some hate, and I'm paraphrasing, so I could be off a little bit. Some hate cannot be negotiated with. This is what he said about Charlie Kirk. So what I'm trying to say, Jamie, is even when you go back to the Civil War, the northern whites, I'll say this in front of the whole country, bro. I've been studying this shit my whole life. The northern whites have always been afraid of southern whites. Them rednecks ain't nothing to play with, homie. And they showed this country that
I
time
agree.
and time
I
again.
told you when we go against
Name another ethnic culture in this country that not overthrew or tried to overthrow the government. Name one. And guess what? This is my last point on this, and y'all, we can move on. Donald Trump is one. Why do you think they surround him like that? See, we got mixed up. I think I said this on your show before, because he's a redneck, but he grew up in New York City. So we're looking at him like he's a New York City kid. No, he's one of the so they look at him like, man, that's the redneck that went to New York City and made it. This shit is deep, bro. And we got to stop playing. So if we would have tried to do that shit on January 6th, half the people in our culture know this. That shit would have been a bloodbath. Now, which way it would have went, your guess good as mine. But we know it would have been a bloodbath. Go ahead, bro.
Bro, this is what I like. First off, I agree with what Kenny just said, bro. Us marching not gonna help nothing, which it ain't. Like I said, and this is the thing. You don't even have to win. I keep telling folks this. You don't have to win. Bullies, this is how bullies work, bro. Bullies bully people that let them push them around. The moment you form an resistance, just enough resistance that they be like, okay, they ain't no pushovers, they gonna stop that shit. We have never came to the point where we showed them, look, every time you try this shit, this is what you're gonna get. Even if they win, they're just gonna stop because they don't want that many casualties happening. They're gonna have to do something to put in place, like, yeah, we can't keep doing this shit. But since we just keep coming over there, marching, yelling and screaming, tearing up our own neighborhoods, they keep doing that shit because they're going to get away with it every damn time. Like he said, bro, we're going to be in the streets for a week at the most, and we're going to be back doing our regular everyday lives.
All right, so Jamie, the example you gave in Memphis, which is a powerful example, y'all presence alone was powerful enough. So now imagine, let's use our imaginations now. Imagine after that day, y'all, what y'all did on the bridge, it was nothing, y'all did nothing violent. Y'all just had the force of unity. Imagine if after that day, you know what, we gonna start showing up at the city council meetings now. Not for no smoke, not for no smoke. We're here just, if our presence did that on the bridge with the law enforcement, imagine what it could do inside the city hall when we're saying, hey, here's what we need in our community. That's how you do it, bro. And if all else fail and we gotta bring the smoke, and so be it. But we don't need to influence our people to crash out. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, like I was saying, I'm gonna quote something from Malcolm X, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Malcolm X famously said, "We are the only group of Negroes that think we're gonna get our shit through peace, when every other group has gotten their shit through war. We the only motherfuckers that believe that shit."
Lead the charge, bro. My life ain't been that bad. So, I mean, anybody who want to take that route, good luck, bro. I mean, everybody, we are also the most advanced group of black people in the world. Now, I'm not saying suck on that pacifier and settle for that. We still want to strive to be great, but we don't need to crash out either, bro.
I think you got to be smart. Look, this is. Let me make sure I'm clear with what I am saying. I'm not saying, because I think certain people are just flat out stupid when they do certain stuff. Like, for instance, if the police pull you over, let's say you were speeding or whatever, you could have not been speeding. Doesn't really matter. Let's say the police pull you over, right? And certain niggas would be like, man, what the hell you want, man? Fuck the police, man. I ain't got to do shit. That stuff just stupid. Because now you're provoking the police, potentially creating a situation that could have been avoided. I'm not saying just be having mad hatred towards them and just, be with the shit all the time. But what I am saying is, if you know for sure, like for instance, my family and stuff like that, it's black people out here, bro, that can watch the police choke out their son in front of them and won't have a cry and march. No, bro, the crying and marching is over after that. That's what I am saying.
I hear you. No, and I'm with you on that. So let's not cry and march. Let's go to the city hall to demand justice, demand change. That's where the changes happen on the local level, all the way up to the federal. With Jamie, we're boys to men. When it comes to black boys to men, bro, we only 6% of the U.S. population. Our women are 7%. But we're damn near an endangered species, homie. Black boys,
You really are.
I can't say black men, bro. I gotta say black boys to men. So that means all black males in this country, when you add all of us up, we're only 6%. And you wanna come on, fam.
Bro, I'm telling you what. Remember I talked. We had this before, but since you're bringing it back up, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back up. White people aren't as deep as y'all think they are, bro. They're not. What they do is fool you into believing it's more of them than it is. This is what they do. They allow immigrant whites to come over. Okay, we got American white, cool. Let's see, I'm just gonna throw numbers. Obviously, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but you got American whites. Okay, let's say, all right, they make up 20%. Cool. Let's let some Russians come over. They considered white. Let's let some Ukrainians come over. That's still white. Let the Jewish community, that's white. The Armenian community, that's white. And that's how they make up they big mass number. But if you separate them the way they do for us, because when they say blacks, bro, they're only talking what I'm saying, if you add up African black, Caribbean black, all of us black and stuff like that, our numbers is bigger than that too. They deliberately tell us that shit to make us think you don't have a chance if you was to try to go against them. They deliberately do that. And like I say, I'm not a person that's advocating for let's start a war against them. But
that's the only option you've given us.
That's not the option I'm giving you.
That's what it sounds like, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm saying is I'm not with the marching stuff because it has not worked since the beginning. We've been doing that shit for 50 years.
So if you're not asking us to crash out, what's the alternative?
I'm saying is if you're going to go out there and do something, make it shit. No, actually do something,
bro. I'm done with the marching too. So my second alternative was, bro, we just got to go to the city hall, and that same respect you and them brothers in Memphis got on that bridge, you would get that same respect.
And I'm gonna tell you the reason why we got the respect we got on that Memphis bridge, because Memphis is the city that's known that will come with this smoke. I don't seen some of my homies jump with the police before. The police know these niggas are crazy enough to actually shoot at them.
All right, so you proving my point. So let's say y'all did decide to get violent that day. What would have happened?
Shit, if it would have happened that day, them niggas would have lost. Because I'm telling you, it was way more of us to them.
All right, but it still would have been a bloodbath, right?
It's not like y'all going home after that. Y'all going to jail for life.
How?
It's crash.
Thanks. How they gonna arrest? Are you insane? How are they gonna arrest roughly 1,500 people? And it's like maybe 70 of them.
No.
They wouldn't arrest
them. Was able to identify all the people. The same way they was able to identify.
They wouldn't arrest that group. And I think they knew there was no way they was gonna arrest them people. It was way too many.
Jamie, your solution is too. That's dangerous.
That's hella dangerous.
That's dangerous. I rather go Taji route. Show up at the city halls, because I be looking at Memphis City Hall Council Hall meetings and it be 5 people there. It's always available on YouTube if anyone wants to look. Them companies come in there and they ask for whatever they want, and Memphis City Council just give it to them, and their room be empty.
Look at that. There you go. Come on, Fakila.
That room be empty as hell. Memphis like gas and water. Every year they go in there and they ask for a 2.5 increase on the expenses, on the payment for Memphis like gas and water. And the city say, okay.
There it is, right there. So let's make sure Jamie get this part. So Jamie, imagine what y'all did on that bridge that day. Y'all show up at the city hall. So if y'all got that kind of respect from law enforcement, like Fakila just said, when y'all show up to see, don't just show up with a demand. Frederick Douglass taught us what? Power concedes nothing without a demand. So here's why we're here. City of Memphis, city of LA, city of Chicago, you name them. This is what we need. We pay tax dollars into the system every day. Sales tax, property tax, the list goes on. Here's what we need. And guess what they gonna do to get y'all niggas up out of there? Hey man, give them niggas what they want, so they ain't got to keep showing up to our damn city hall meetings every other.
And at that point, maybe then we take it the next measure, like we gonna show up at your damn house because we got some crash outs that's waiting to crash
we got
out.
there you go, Frankila. She could, that's thinking.
But that's what I'm saying, though. They did do that.
That's what you do with the crash outs. That's what we do.
The next day,
the
same day, July. Hold on, that same day that I'm talking about, July 12th. If not 12th, for sure the 13th. Motherfuckers did show up to the council meeting. They did.
Okay. Did they show up with a demand? What did y'all want? A lot of us nationwide, we don't even know what the hell we want. I salute to Kevin Hart. I don't like to do name drops a lot, but I never forget that morning he was on Breakfast Club and he asked the whole black community. It's still up there somewhere. What do we want? He was like, what do we? He was just confused. Like, yo, black people, what the fuck? Do we even know what the hell we want as a community of people? So when you show up, Jam, you got to know what you want. Hey, we need this done to the streets. Hey, we need economic development. Hey, whatever the need is.
Bro, I agree again what Kenny said, bro. Y'all acting like it's just going to be a white power structure is not going to allow us to be like, oh, hey, we want this and we demand this and stuff like that. They're going to say, okay, like Joe Biden did to Ice Cube and tell you they with it. And wait on you to forget and not give that shit to you. The same shit they've been doing with
this as an example.
Huh?
Let me answer your question with an example. Memphis City Council members, majority of them are black, right? And they have some white ones sprinkled in there here and there. But when the school board was ready to get rid of that director, they was able to hire her, and then they were able to fire her.
Well, first off, I'm not just speaking on Memphis. We're not, obviously we know Memphis is a predominantly black city. We're not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about Black America as a whole.
Some cities are already doing it, but I want to hear Frankila speak with a lot of logic. So I want to hear her finish her statement. But people are already doing it across the country, Jamie. Black people are doing exactly what she's saying. They're going to the city halls and they're telling their city. The city is the closest connection we have to public power. Go ahead.
Yep. To make changes. Yeah. So the city council was able to hire and fire that lady. So if you're saying to the city council, you say,
that's the crazy part.
This is the community that we want you to develop, and we want you to build public resources in this community, and then maybe you come back and you ask for another community to be developed. We want home ownership grants. What we want is the plan to provide us with economic power in this country. If we don't get any economic power, then we're going to continue to work for other people, making the bare minimum while they build their sort of empire. So you go to the community, you go to these places, and you ask them, this is an abandoned building in our neighborhood that we want you to invest money in.
It's that simple. Come on, people.
This is how you do it. Yeah. And then you're going to come back every time you have a meeting until you pass a budget to build this.
That's right. And y'all gonna be there and I love the point she made. That's what made me chuckle a little bit earlier. She's like, we're gonna send the crash house to the people's house. That's our secret weapon.
Right. That's our secret weapon.
Right, the silver line.
That's what other races do.
But this is what I'm saying. They have already done that, bro. Y'all act like nobody ever came up with that shit. They have definitely done that shit.
Where's the receipt?
They have done that shit.
And I bet you they got something done.
Now it's time for the crash out.
I bet you they got something done. I bet you they got something done.
I can guarantee you, I can research it right now without knowing off the top of my head that they.
I would love to see that receipt. Because I'm willing to tell you that anybody that did that, they got some results, bro. If they did what
I'm not talking about just any. I'm talking about us.
Okay, us. So now I'm if we take this to Vegas, I'm betting that you're gonna be hard pressed finding an example of us doing the strategy we both just said. Well, we saying, hey, we're sending the civilized, dignified people to City Hall. It's two-pronged. We sending the civilized, dignified people to City Hall. We're sending the crash outs to protest outside their house. That has never been done in Black America, bro. If you could find a receipt on that, I would love to read it from beginning to end.
You know what? If you didn't know, that's how that little country in the Middle East that nobody can talk about. That's what they do.
No, that's not the same. I know we're not
send the
comparing.
crash outs to the
I know
house.
we're not comparing them.
Oh, yeah, since they don't give a fuck to me, yeah, get them the address and here you go. This is where y'all go. Go crash out over
Yeah, and
there.
we gonna put money on your book. Like they did Dylan Wolf. We gonna pool our $20 together. We gonna buy your mama a house, your grandma a house, whoever you want. We gonna put a life insurance policy. We gonna fund your whole life if you gonna handle that, because we want this in our community.
Cook his ass support. I told you when it's stuff like that, you got my permission. Cook his ass.
I'm just saying.
But I caught that part. What she said was like just like they did with Dylan Roof. That was a community thing. So
they sound we support you.
Exactly. When he went and crashed, and he didn't even crash out because they didn't kill him. That's how you know they support him. So he went with the mentality to crash out, though they might catch me as I'm running out of Mother Emmanuel. And that just happened.
But my family said, I'm sad. This is the least I could do. I'm a low life. I got nothing to live for.
Hold on, who y'all talking about right now?
God for my family.
Jamie, we're talking about what I had a conversation with you about on the private conversation. She's talking about the wind. That's what you call the wind-ups.
I know that, but who particularly?
She brought up Dylan Roof as a wind-up. He's what you call a wind-up. So a wind-up is a person with, like she just said, they're low lives. They ain't got shit to live for. And the person comes get in their ear and say, look, don't you want to go down to infamy, right? Here's what you go do. Go take out Charlie Kirk. Go take out, go take out Trump. Go try to take whoever. Go try to take these people out, and at least, because you're ready to commit suicide anyway, aren't you?
Anyway.
Yeah, come on. For Kilo on point, bro, Jamie. You gotta wake up.
Let me buy your mama a house. Let me give
you y'all pay attention. The whole chat is basically agreeing with me. Y'all together with that. Talking about I gotta wake up.
You do, because you're trying to get the whole community to crash out. We got crash outs to do that shit.
I didn't say the whole, bro. What I'm saying is, if you gonna do that shit, do it for real. Stop faking. That's what I am saying. That's my message. Stop faking.
So to Fakila's point, when we was out there in the streets during the George Floyd era, what was the crash outs then? Waiting to go crash some glass to steal some stuff out the stores.
Because they don't have a purpose. That's what I'm saying.
All right, then. So what good are they?
Doing that? Okay, so what changed after they did that? What changed? Answer that for me,
Jamie. We're giving them purpose. Look, bro, y'all already. I'm telling you, you said what changed about what?
Yes, after they got done with the George Floyd situation, what changed? What did we get?
A lot changed, but guess what happened? So let's start with the organization you spoke down on earlier, BLM, among others. Corporate sponsorships went up. We mismanaged the money. That ain't their fault. The whole world went to sending money to our community.
To Black Lives Community.
Come on, and now
Black Lives Matter. I already don't cook that. That shit is not us.
But listen, Jamie, I understand that we later found out that it was a scam, whatever. But look at all
that's what I'm saying. You're helping my point.
No, but you won't let me finish my statement either, because you're interrupting me.
And that's toxic masculinity, Jamie. Brother to brother, fam. Let her speak. She speaks with a lot of things.
So I
guess the feminine. Is it feminine to say, man, let the lady speak? Is it feminine to say? Is it feminine?
Don't do that. I was speaking first. Don't do that.
Is it feminine to say let the lady speak? I'm trying to understand what toxic masculinity versus this new age feminism y'all talking about. So is a dual feminist, man, let her speak, man. She made good points.
Nigga, I was speaking first though. That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
Now I'm done. Now I don't even remember my damn thought, but he gonna try and cut in and say let her finish, nigga. I didn't even land my damn plane.
Let him get his alpha male on. Let him do his alpha male thing. Go ahead, Fakila. And Jamie, you and I talk a lot, bro. I don't get to hear from Fakila
bro. But what I'm saying is, if I'm speaking when I'm doing my stuff, what did I do then? I normally wait and let folks get their stuff done. Like when you start interfering, what I do, I pause, let you get done. But I'm saying you talking about letting her. I'm like, bro, I haven't even finished. You come like I'm just deliberately talking over her. I'm not.
It ain't that deep, y'all. What I was about to say? Damn, I
Then she
forgot.
done. Damn, she done
And the
forgot.
same shit happened to me. I forgot mine. That's the reason why I say it's not
But
good to
Jay, all
talk
right.
about
So
women in general.
all right, James. So can we go back to the question? You said what changed? A lot changed financially, fam, and
Oh
it ain't
yeah,
there.
okay.
Yeah,
I
and
remember. So I was
our
just
community
saying
messed up the
that.
money. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we understand that later on we found out that Black Lives Matter was stealing all the money. We understand it. But look how much money people were actually sending to that
Mm-hmm.
organization. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
if they would have actually took that money, if this was a real black organization that we trusted and did our research and we trust these people with our money, this community would have gave us all this money. We could have built our own institutions with that money. We could have provided people with jobs, with all type of shit. We could have served as a bank to give people house loans. We could have built manufacturing plants. We could have built so much with that money. But then we have, as a part of every other community, we have people who didn't really have the intent to help us. But what if we had people who were solid and they know that every dime that was donated was actually going to benefit our community? Like, we knew that these people did not join this expecting to get any money, because you're doing this just to make sure that the community gets the resources, not
Mm-hmm.
that you get a financial gain.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, regardless of that, it still ended up being a scam, and it would have been a good thing if it was something like that. But what I'm saying is, when we these people that I am speaking of, they're not going to give us that shit. They just gonna fake. That was my point from the beginning. That they're going to fake like they're gonna give us certain things. And in this particular instance, during the George Floyd situation, they faked like they was giving us something because they got people to dump a bunch of money into an organization that was already theirs in the first place. So they still finessed us in the long run, is what I am saying. So what I'm saying is, they're not, and what Kenny in the chat was saying is, they're not going to just give us shit, bro. They're not gonna do it. I don't give a fuck how much y'all go to there and just keep on asking. It's like Tupac
Nobody.
said too.
Uh
Tupac
huh.
said, bro, we did that asking. We did that all that stuff back in the day. Now we to the point where we take it.
And every
Because
all right,
it's
good.
the
Hey,
only way
I hear
you're
you.
gonna get something done, bro. I'm telling you.
I hear
You're
you.
not gonna do it by constantly asking them folks every day. They're not gonna give you that shit. Why
We
would,
didn't say.
like
We
you
didn't
said,
say.
why would
Hmm?
they give you something just because you constantly asking? Folks respect power, which I think we
And,
know that already.
and that's power. So we're trying to make the connection
Asking is
from.
power.
No, no. You using the term asking. I never use. I quoted Frederick Douglass saying, "Power concedes nothing without a demand." So when you go to City Hall, you're demanding these improvements, economic development. Hey, like take that abandoned building, and here's what we need in our community, and we're not going to stop coming until we see some results. In every city, in any city where that's the approach, things get done. But we don't care about the what they call it, the civic process. We don't care, and those city council meetings be boring as hell. I done been through this shit, so I can speak from experience. Those meetings be boring as hell, but if you want change, you gotta send people who got the patience to sit there, and you're on public record, so you got your receipts. Hey, here's what we need, and we're not gonna stop showing up until we see some results. We're from here, we pay into this city, whatever city it is. And we need to see, so we see how y'all trying to squeeze us out. We got the receipts of you guys giving these people who are not even from here all this money to do this, that, and the third. So I'm saying that's a more intelligent approach than crashing out.
And if
Bro,
I could
this is,
add something, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also don't think that, I'm all for us being self sufficient. So I don't think that we should take money from other races. I think that it should come from us. $5 from this family, $10, $20 from this family. We pull that money up together with people we trust. Removing Black Lives Matter out of the situation. We have to vet these people. We have to find people who really give a damn, because we got to trust that they're not going to spend the money that is used for our community. right? So just removing the Black Lives Matter and just saying that we created this perfect company where we have people in there that we can trust. That's how you get the funding to build these institutions. I'm not saying you go broke, putting your money into this black fund, but you having $5, this stuff add up. We're majority of the work. We're working class. Majority of us. Majority
Mm-hmm.
of us are working. So if you make, let's say you're on the lower income scale, maybe you only do $5. But if you make 100,000, you need to be putting in a couple $100 like you paying your taxes. Like they say, a black tax, it's a black tax that you use to benefit your community. No, you may, as someone who makes $100,000, you may not get any incentive to these benefits because you are in a comfortable position. But if you want a business loan, you want a mortgage loan, you can come to us and we'll give you the money to buy you a home because you've been participating in this black tax. So you get rewards no matter what your income is. But if you're comfortable, then this money is going to be used to fund our brothers and sisters who are not as comfortable as you are, to provide them with resources so they can provide for themselves. So it's going to be people that's going to be paying their black tax and they don't benefit. But it's also going to be people who are going to be paying maybe $5 and they take over a lot more benefits than someone who's paying a little bit. So we need to pull our money together so that we can fund our own institutions, fund our own banks, fund our own schools, fund our own supermarkets, because that is another thing. These food deserts are a thing now. So, and then we have the economic power to put in our own damn politicians because we got money coming from the two grocery stores. We got money comes from the restaurants, from the barbers. We got our own childcare facilities. We got everything we need in our community. Where now we're putting politicians in that's gonna build and give us what we want. That's all I was gonna say.
So I got a question. So you said someone that we trust. Because one thing about me is that I'm not against that, but I am curious to ask you. I think we may have lost Taj. Did we? No, he's still here. Okay. Or is he? May have lost him. But anyways, one thing about me is that I want to come up with solutions. Like we can say something, but we need to, actually be able to come up with solutions and stuff like that. Because for me, it's always been, a deep desire for me once I'm financially capable, you know what I'm saying, um, to come up with stuff like this that we're talking about to make it, be for the benefit of our community. So I was to ask for somebody that we could actually trust, who could that just, an idea of who could be that person or group of people, actually had to be a group of people that we can trust. Are you maybe we create that foundation ourselves, or what would you suggest?
Fakila, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's fine. It would be anyone. It would be just like a job. You would have people that come in and you interview, but then you wouldn't just put them in charge of themselves. You would have oversight. Then you potentially may want to even hire independent firms to go in and do the accounting to make sure everything is correct. I mean, we don't have to search very far. We can just look at how all these other corporations are
Mm-hmm.
functioning. The way
Mm-hmm.
the way it's going to work in practical sense, we can just take it from one of these other corporations. We don't really have to we don't have to get creative with that.
Right.
It's more so about us as black people being committed to ourselves, changing the way we think about ourselves, thinking we can't do it because of this, instead think that we can do it. It's all about our mindset. We make the money to be able to afford to change our environment. But instead we rather spend our money on foolish stuff, or we rather sit back and
Yeah,
say, well, they came up with this and I don't agree with it, so I don't, that ain't gonna work. And that's what I just keep saying. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work, even though we haven't tried and you have no desire to try because you're not committed to black people as a whole. You may be committed to your family and your individual friends, but as far as us as a race, a lot of us are not committed to ourselves, and that's the reason why we won't sacrifice for each other.
I agree with probably everything you said. That's one thing that I've always, for me, every time I'm at any black-owned business. And I'm not advocating everybody do. I think we should, but anytime I made it, I understand that our prices and stuff is probably going to be higher than normal and stuff like that. But I think the sacrifice, if everybody was to have that mentality to do the sacrifice to support those businesses and stuff that's trying to do something, um, you know, in faster than we would think, we would see a huge change in a lot of this stuff. Also,
Hmm.
by the for Chad, I'm just letting y'all know I got rid of Michael. That was started stirring up all the trouble. So that's why you're not saying no more. I got his ass out.
You got him out of there.
Yeah, and he was just putting up negative shit, and we on that we talking about real stuff, and he trying to, you know. Anyways, um, Tosh, if you want to have a follow up on it, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. There are systems we can use to where the money is invested. One person it doesn't have the opportunity to commit theft, or embezzlement, and the money doesn't get spent until we reach our goal. That's one way it could be done. I used to be on this African American Advisory Council, and on that council, we wasn't able to hold money, so we couldn't even have an account. And this is how they prevented theft. So whatever we wanted to get done, if we wanted to do an event, it was almost like what they call the no, the pass the hat approach. Where hey, here's what we need to fundraise. We can go engage with different sponsors to try to get them to help out. But here's the limit we have to, and that way you put the money towards that limit, and then when you hit that limit, the money gets spent, and that makes it theft proof. But if you don't go that route, it has to be a system where it's just because that's the biggest thing, theft. And last point, real quick, with the reparations, that's why we want to put it through public government so bad, because it's easier to trace the theft through public government. If you go through a nonprofit, I just learned this earlier this year, man. In nonprofits, them people can vote out the original founder and then appoint somebody else, and then they do what Black Lives Matter did. So you don't want to. We hopefully we've learned our lesson from BLM. Now we don't want to do the nonprofit shit because we saw what happened with them. It was highway robbery. So the public government is the best route to set up a fund in public government, or use some type of escrow to where no a penny don't get released until we meet our goal, and this money go towards what we saved it up for.
Completely agree.
And that's because our biggest issue is the theft. So how do we? I don't trust nobody when it comes to money. I'm gonna just be honest with
That's
you. It could,
that's what and that's the reason why I asked the question that I asked.
bro. You could put Jay-Z and Beyonce over the account, and I wouldn't trust them. I'm sorry.
I
I just
definitely would trust them. What the
yeah,
hell?
yeah, and
I
they
mean, but it's
billionaires.
ways, it's things that we can do with an account. I mean, it's gonna be. I think it's not so much the account, but where exactly we get the money from, or the money is going, right? So, like, if we have somebody, because this is how they do it. They put somebody in place to, run this business. Say, for example, you're operating a supermarket, right? They operate a supermarket. They would say, okay, well, I need a cleaning company. So I need to go for subcontract a cleaning company to come in here and clean up. But all along that they're subcontracting their own damn company to come in there and clean up. So now this man has paid himself $50,000 from this account for a cleaning company, and maybe he's hired, five of his friends to come in there and clean up. So I think it's not so much, because how if you searching an account and you got restrictions on the account as to the amount that I can withdraw, the amount, who can go in the account, who can sign checks from the account, and you have somebody watching that account every week or every day, then they're not going to get very far if you know where every penny, every dime is going from that account. I think that it's not going to be that hard. I don't think it's going to be that easy for a person to get away with a lot of stealing. But it comes when you have maybe one person that's the face of it, and they're able to, do it and do as they want and do as they please without anyone being sort of over them, to be able to make, changes in the event that they appear as though they are misappropriating the funds, right? So And then, of course, we would have different funds for different things, because maybe in Chicago we want to do a new school in the black community. Then maybe in Memphis we want to do a urgent care or a black hospital, because it's literally only one trauma center in Memphis, and that's the Med. So it's very bad. So maybe if we wanted to do a black hospital with a trauma center in Memphis, we would buy a building, one of them old buildings, whatever. Maybe we want to do a manufacturing plant in Memphis, because there's a lot of old manufacturing plants in Memphis that are not working. What if we was to buy that, put it in operation? Now we make something like all different car parts, all different tools, shirts, whatever you want. You can hire us to manufacture it, and we didn't put $5,000, 5,000 jobs for black men or women to work in this factory. Now you didn't put all these black people to work, plus whoever we're manufacturing these materials from, they paying us to, and now we need another one. We using that to buy a school in Memphis. It's just that if we was to fund our money, we can, that's the investment in creating jobs for other people other than ourselves. So I mean,
I
we
wouldn't
just
know.
have
I
to
wouldn't
get together,
say
we have to get together and agree on where we're going to invest the money. I think that's going to be the hardest part, or what
that.
each
I
city
agree.
needs.
That would be where the problem lies. Where to
But
invest
it's
it
always going to
and
be a problem,
how
huh,
to
Jamie?
protect it.
Y'all there?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
Support. What do you mean? What's who problem?
I said, but it's always going to be a problem, huh,
No,
Jamie?
no, no, no. I wasn't talking to you. I was speaking to the chat.
Go ahead, we listening.
No, I was addressing someone in the chat. They asked me
Yeah.
something. I was answering.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just so many cases of people getting away with the money. And I know I'm not that familiar with escrow, but I know that if you don't reach a limit, everybody get their money back. I mean, I don't care if AI has to run this shit. Just anything but a person who's subject to to steal. So AI can run it for all I care. Here's all the people that put their money in. If we don't reach our goal, reimburse them people their money. If a small transaction fee has to be taken out, that's understood. Somebody got to get paid to manage the finances. But that's sort of like, well, if we don't want to go through the system, then that's kind of how we got to do it.
I agree.
But I think that,
Okay,
but I
so
think that it
that
should be. But just to follow up a little bit, just a little critique. I would say that we are building this money for a specific project, but we still want to continue to collect the black tax so that we can fund other projects, because we don't know. We don't want to say, okay, we want to raise $10 million and we're going to charge every black person $20 per check. It may take us 6 months or however long it take us to come up with that money. If we're able to buy that, then we want to still continue to sort of keep taking the money so we can build other projects. I mean, we're not stealing still, regardless if we get the manufacturing plant up or not. We're not stealing, but maybe we want to create a childcare facility, or maybe we want to fund this buildings, or maybe, I think that it should just be a continuous thing and not something that we do like once we build that project, now we're done taking the money and making these resources available to people. So it's sort of like a continuous thing, because I feel like we have to rebuild our communities from the ground up. Like we have to create jobs for ourselves. We need to get new schools. We need all these other things. We're just not going to stop at the one thing, but continue to make changes in different areas that people may be dealing with.
I mean, this is the thing. If we was able to find someone that was serious about this, like for instance, why not us? I'm just saying that was actually serious about it. Because one thing about me, when I get serious about something and stuff like that, I map it out, try to form a plan. And even if I start out really small and ain't nobody supporting it, I'm gonna keep going and going and going until eventually it starts to get recognized. But I'm a numbers guy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if judging by what you were just saying, the $20 thing, right? $20 is nothing, even though a lot of people, would do it. But if you can get just And I know 100,000 seems like a lot. Seems like a lot. Let's forget 100,000. Let's say 20,000. If you are able to come up with 20,000 black people that shares the same thing with you, and they were willing to put $20 per paycheck, right? That's roughly $80 per month. And you can get 20,000 people to do that. That's already 1.6 million. That's crazy, right? So if you was able to do that and then like really and really like do that, like the thing is it gotta be somebody, it gotta be something that you build that can be respectable. You know what I'm saying? Like they seeing you do, and I think the money need to be some kind of way locked into a trust that not one person can, just take money out. It
Right.
needs to be collectively 10 people or something like that, all in agreement. Okay, this is what we're taking it out for. That way you can eliminate the stealing. The money is in a trust.
Mm-hmm.
I vote for this. I vote for this. I vote for this. All of y'all collectively say yes, and then each person needs to be in a different city, so it can't be nobody, in one shot. I represent, or a different state, whatever. I represent
Uh huh.
Tennessee. I represent
Mm-hmm.
Florida. I represent California,
Mm-hmm.
and they all say, yeah, I agree. This is where that money should be, you know, put towards. Then you can eliminate the stealing, and then you can actually get something done, because the only way the money can be unlocked is if the states collectively agree and put that towards their cause. We keep that shit going on, bruh. We can make something happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I love to hear you what you got to say on that.
Tequila.
I would agree with that. I definitely think that if we're gonna be well, first of all, I wasn't really thinking 20,000. I was thinking out 40 million of us. If you say
Damn.
if you say that one, if you say that, let's just say
I just
seven
like
million
see
of us.
real quick. I
If,
don't mean to interrupt you, love, but the only reason why I say this is because I just know it's certain niggas that just not gonna do it. 40 million, that's really pushing it. Like we got a nigga right here already saying that's $960 a year. Now I'm good on not gonna lie on that. So we're gonna have a lot of
but
them.
they will, but I bet you that he has a Netflix subscription that he's willing to give Netflix $20 a fucking month.
I agree.
I'm sure
I
that
agree.
he has a Hulu account. I'm sure that he's paying for whatever subscription. So he's willing to do that to get entertainment. It's the sacrifices that we have to make for each other. $20 a month is nothing. You go
It's
spend that.
nothing. It
We
really
go
is.
spend that at the club. But
You
I'm
buy that
also
on
thinking.
weed. You spend that
But
on
I'm also
blunt.
saying that if you're making $7 an hour, then of course we're not going to be expecting you to make a $20 donation per check. You probably can't afford that. You probably be one of the people who are really taking more
Shit, even
from the black
10,
tax. Right. But what
$5.
I'm saying, like, it depends on your income, just
Yeah.
like the federal taxes.
Uh-huh.
And I would agree with your method of having each state having a different representative, because we may not know what each state need, but we're voting on it just like the United States do. They vote on how they dispense our tax dollars all the time. We don't have to get creative on how this is going to be practiced. We can follow the government's way of doing it by having a fund, taxpayer dollars,
Mm-hmm.
that they use to vote on these different wars, right?
Yep.
You see? We're gonna hire this contractor. I mean, if we don't have to get creative, we just have to, like I said, have the commitment to each other. But we're not willing to sacrifice, and that's what I find when you speak about making these what I would consider to be a simple sacrifice. I mean, $10 a check, $20 a check. To me, we spend our money on way worse than that, way more expensive. Like, we're paying, $300 to get our hair done. We're paying $150 to get our nails done, but you can't afford $20 to help you get to the next level or help your community get to the next level. So when it's time for you to want to buy a house or you to need a loan for something that you know for sure you can go to the black bank and get a black loan instead of having to go to these people who have never allowed you to participate in their system of economic power. They've never let you do it. But for some reason, you think that going to them and begging them for it is going to get you there instead of you being a part of something that has built their sort of economic power amongst each other. But we don't, we just are not our community committed to ourselves to start these type of power, and we've never really had to do it because unless I mean when we had these businesses back in the day, we had the mindset that we had to create these businesses because other races were not allowing us to participate, so we relied on each other back then. But now that America appears as though they're allowing us to participate in their system, then we don't have the need or the mindset that wants to create our own. Instead, we rather beg other races to give us what I would call our necessities instead of us being in control of them. I mean, imagine having a black school in every major city and we're teaching a curriculum. We're teaching them what we want them to learn, and we're producing these adults that love themselves and want to create their own
It's
communities
powerful.
and have the same mindsets.
So
Yeah.
I got a
Like we're
question.
creating crash outs
Yeah.
because the
Pretty
I got a
schools
much.
say so.
question. What do you think is our biggest thing that we are suffering from as a whole that like should be addressed first?
To be honest, the self hate. To
You
be
man,
honest,
Freakila, that's
the self
Freakila.
hate. We hate
Damn,
ourselves
that's my
so
answer. That's
much.
right. That's my
We hate
answer.
ourselves. Like
Wow.
we don't see us in no positive light. We don't
Right.
see each other in no like we get you like we degrade ourselves so much and we glorify it and we don't
Yep.
support each other. You rather support someone who's been killing you for 400 years
Yep.
than to create somebody who's subjected to the same system that you are. We do not like ourselves, and then we have to deal with the fact that we have to start relying on each other because no we're I mean you would think that we would want to change our environment, but instead we've gotten so comfortable because America has appeared to allow us to participate. But if you could change the way we think to where we're saying we can do it, we can make this work, we can build this something for our kids because our wealth is in a negative, like we're leaving our kids nothing. But then we're sitting back on the couch saying, "Oh, I'm comfortable. I'm good. I got a nice car. I got a nice apartment. I got a nice house. I'm good." But then you look around your community, you look around other black people, and you see the wealth is at zero. But we comfortable with that though. Other races wouldn't be comfortable with that. We're comfortable with it though. But we hate ourselves. That's the biggest thing. I feel like if you
That's
could
it. Yeah.
change the way we think about each other, you could convince them to make a simple sacrifice as $10 a month and not feel as though you're getting scammed because you go to the store and spend $10 on nothing. I mean, the chips $3 now. So I
Man,
know you went to the store and bought a big bag of chips for six
right.
dollars. So you mean to tell me you can't add $4 to build your own community? So maybe you can afford a house. Maybe they'll be willing to give you a loan. I mean, we just have to. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's easy
Okay,
for me.
so T, let me address let me address two things. Um, the point we actually are still on the third topic. This one just so happened to shoot out of control, but it's been
Mhm.
great. But to Kenny, yes, other races did take what they want. I agree with that, but I will say every other race that pretty much did go to war, I will give this to. This is going towards they a shot, as Taj would say, in both of them baskets. We are we are much smaller than the other ones that had to go up against us. So what they're suggesting here, I'm guessing, is that a way to. But I will say this: they will try to, because something like that is a huge power move. They're absolutely going to try to sabotage it. They're just going to do that. We know that. But in order to avoid bloodshed, I guess, they're saying this is an alternate way. But to me, unless something like major was to happen to just put them out of commission some kind of way, I think, other than that, war is probably the only way, because that's always how it's been. But anyways, if we put all this money in these things, the white people still gonna suppress it. We still own their land and well, it's not their land.
It's not their land. I'm glad you said that. We agree on that, James.
It's
Go ahead.
ours. This is a
It's their
land that they're trying to hijack.
it's
And
their
speaking of
system.
which, I
Uh-huh.
think with him saying that, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
Are you
but
good?
I think with him saying that is a perfect time to go ahead and flip over to this last segment,
All right.
because he's claiming it's definitely not ours.
It's
Let's go
not.
ahead and
It's
let's
their
go to this
system.
last
Go
part.
ahead. All right.
So the last segment, people, blacks came here on ships, and the reason that Kenny, that you're probably saying what you're saying that it's not ours is because you actually probably believe that we actually came here on ships. So if that was the case, then you would be right. And either way, it still wouldn't be theirs, because we know for damn sure, according to their own history, when they were trying to teach us about bogus ass Christopher Columbus, he came and discovered a world that people was already at. So how the fuck was it his? You can't discover something that somebody else is already there. But anyways, the last segment, we're gonna dive into this. I do have a video that I wanna play. It's a really short one, like a minute long. But it was a guy that made a very interesting point. And I was like, you know what? He's right. And I always felt this way anyways, but this is just more so validating more of what I always felt. And I got more points to add to it once he say his. Okay, it's not allowing me to play it. I'm gonna have to do it another. Damn, I'm gonna have to do it another way. Hold up, because like I said, this shit was absolutely ours, but you have to. Hold up, damn, I did grab this straight from Facebook. Now that I think about it, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just tell y'all what the video said, because like right now I can't pull it up. But anyways, pretty much what this guy was saying is, as we know, the oppressors that we have been dealing with has always found a way. If it's a way to make money, they are gonna do it. And one of the biggest things that they do to make money is tourist attractions, right? So with tourist attractions, we have so many different things that people are able to visit, that you're able to look at. Like, we got the civil rights museums, the Underground Railroad, things like that, right? That you're actually able to go to and visit it, but like, this is where this took place. You know what I'm saying? So why haven't, after all these years, we haven't seen one event where they were able to host a slave ship? Think about this. It would be folks would pay top dollars to look at the ships that brought all of the slaves over to America, right? But you haven't seen one school that I know of. Y'all can let me know if y'all seen one, but I haven't seen one either, where they've been able to show, like, this is where we brought all the slaves from Africa at and brought them over here to America. So basically, what the guy is hinting at, and what I also feel, is that they never brought us here on ships, people. We were
Okay,
already here.
that was gonna be my question. So I guess my question was to sort of clarify what you were asking, was that, or saying was that, we're unable to find where they docked ships. Therefore, the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say dock ships, are you talking about like the landmarks, or are you talking about actual slave ship?
The actual slave ships.
I
The actual
guess.
slave ships that they moved, that they
So is
traveled
that,
to
yeah?
Africa with, got the slaves and brought that shit back here.
Okay,
Why don't
so
they have
okay,
any of them?
okay, so is that the only requirement, or is that sort of the only thing that that you have that questions the existence of that
No,
event?
no. I have more than just that. That's just the first one I brought on.
Okay, okay. So because we don't have any slave ships, that's I guess a reason as to why you believe that the slave trade never had, the transatlantic specifically, and that we were here already. Okay.
So
No, I've never seen a ship. I've only seen like pictures, but I've seen like landmarks that says this is where the ship docks, where they had this amount of African slaves.
so it's something in there that you know that I believe it's some kind of, and we got to dig deeper on it, but it's something else in there that they are lying about. I believe they may have possibly had a little bit of success of bringing certain people to from there to here, maybe. But here's another thing that I do know that I always question. It would be much tougher think about the type of ships that they had back in the day. They didn't have any motor ships. So how were these ships able to go over the current and make it over there successfully? And because the currents that you're going to be dealing with is going to sink those damn ships. So how the fuck did they manage to get over there to Africa and make it back down to America?
Okay,
After?
but Jamie, do you realize that they had been trading amongst each other? Like different countries had been trading spices, coffee, tobacco. It was more than just slave trips ships that were going back and forth from the Atlantic. So are you saying that those ships never made it, as well as the slave ships never made it?
I'm saying there is something fishy going on with that shit.
I don't understand. I don't understand the reasoning. Okay, you're saying that you don't think that the ships that we saw back in the day would have made it from Africa over the transatlantic slave, the transatlantic, and made it to America. If that's the case, how the fuck did Christopher Columbus get here to the Barbados? Because that's, I
So,
mean,
so this is
to
the thing.
to
I'm not saying that they never moved from. I'm not saying that they never used a ship, period, to come make it from one country to another. That's not what I'm saying. Because I believe obviously they were able to do that, but it's easier to come from one place to another, especially if you're just following the waves to go that direction, than to be able to, let's say the current is going against you and you're trying to go up it. How were they able to accomplish that?
I mean, they had maps to tell you, just like ships now. They have maps like that you need to avoid this area. Like they had maps like that told them which way they needed to sail in order to survive the currents, right? So they wasn't coming over here just willy nilly going straight across. They do like the planes do. They have a map. They have trails that they follow. They had
Speaking of
captains,
planes,
stewards.
I think there's some bullshit with them planes too. But
So
I think
okay,
the planes
but
be,
but I mean, what about all the history of the transatlantic slave trade where people were writing about it? Not even just in America, but like books that were written during the time that it was occurring, and those authors were writing about it. What you're saying they're making that up?
I'm at the point that anything them mother suckers say to us, I think it's warranted to be challenged. But they
I
just
mean,
lied
I
about it.
agree, but a lot of, I think that I think in some cases, yes, of course, but it's not easy. It's not hard to sort of debunk sort of the trash that they try to produce. Like I think that if you go through a period, especially if you're reading history as it relates to before the Renaissance time, a lot of those authors were being as honest as they sort of could be. And now they probably were still white supremacists, but they documented how the transatlantic slave trade was going on and how they were kidnapping people said to be Jews into the transatlantic slave trade. So they were writing about the ships that were on the coast. They were writing about how the Jews were being kidnapped and then sold into slavery. So, like, for y'all to say that it didn't happen is kind of like because you've never seen a ship, I don't think that that's equivalent. Like, that's the same thing.
I'm
Like,
just saying, I do that one is hard for me to because I never seen that before. This is the first time I've seen it. I'm gonna try to find a way to play it so you can hear it. But
I mean, I understand the argument. I've heard that argument before, and it's not that I disagree. I do think that it wasn't just Native Indians living on this land. I think that people were going back and forth throughout this world. They were traveling to America. Like, of course, it was Black people here, and I think that, of course, those what we call Native Indians are a mixture of Black people who migrated there before them, right? Like, so I get that Black people were here, but to say that the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen, I think that that can't be true. But I do agree with the fact that Black people were in America before the transatlantic slave trade. So some of us are indigenous to this land. Like, to me, that's not an argument. I think it's enough history to prove that. But then to say we were already here and none of us came from the slave trade, then to me, I think the slave trade could have happened, and it was some of us that were already here.
well,
That's sort of the
if
argument.
you pay attention, I say I do think they were successful at some of it. I did say that.
So when you say some, do you doubt the 100 million that they're claiming that they stole from West Africa?
100 million was to make it here.
Not make it here because they pulled these people out of West Africa and they scattered them. So they're not all going to be in America. We know that Brazil had the slave trade was going to Brazil hundreds of
Yeah,
years, well,
yeah,
years, decades before they started coming to the Americas. So it's not
and yeah, the
just coming
Caribbean
to
and all that.
America, they were coming to the land. Okay, okay,
I just thought
okay.
it was an interesting topic. Charles, go. What you got to say?
I mean, well, our ancestors, ancient Israelite ancestors, they gave them up first in West Africa because we were different. And now, to your point, let's say they only did a few trips as far as them bringing the Hebrews, the whole Hebrews and Negroes thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I do agree with you that I think it's a reverse psychology thing. So, I majored in psychology, so I like psychology, and I think they just did a reverse psychology on all the other melanated people that was already here. So a few trips was made, and then after that, because what they have on paperwork is 1619. Now this ain't quite the United States. 1619 is the 13 colonies.
You
So
know
from
what?
six,
Also, just real
uh,
quick, I just wanted to throw it out there while you're saying
mm-hmm,
16, 19. You know what's
uh,
crazy is 1619 is actually the same year that the original King James version of the Bible was created as well.
yes, and that's where Jamestown, Virginia comes from. So you're dealing with the king. That's a good point you just made.
Yeah,
Jamestown, Virginia is named after King James. And when you do the year math, it's right there, 1611,
right.
1619. 1611 is when he published the book we call the Bible. And he's the first person in human history to make the Bible available for anybody who wanted it. So that's whether you like King James or not. We don't have to get into his personal life, but he's the
Right.
first. Before him, you had to go to the church and let the pastor read the Bible to you. So he's the first person to make the Bible available for everybody in 1611. When he sends the people over here, they remember this is England. So we're talking about the King of England, not the Spain. The Spain came to America in 1492.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're talking about the British Empire, King James sent that ship over here, and it landed. It's documented as landed in 1619. You know, so but to your point, Jamie, I believe majority of us were already here, and they just did the reverse psychology on all the other melanated people. They reverse psychology. They did the reverse psychology to make us believe all of us came from Africa, and that wasn't the case. It probably was a small percentage that did, and then they made everybody else believe that's where they came from, so they could do the land swap.
So yeah, this is what. Okay, so who's familiar with the Apocrypha?
I've heard of it, not too familiar with it. Yeah.
Okay, so in the book, what about you, Fakila? You're familiar with it?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard of it.
Okay, so basically in the Apocrypha, the book of Esther, I think it's Esdras, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
It basically speaks on when Israel was first being divided and attacked and stuff like that, and they had to start going separate routes, right? So, according to the Apocrypha books, in order for this is what is known the northern side of Israel,
Uh-huh.
what you also known as today the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they were able to cross over to the America. They said the God stilled the water for them to actually be able to. That goes to talk about that current that I was talking about. I was like, I find it very hard for them to be able to, get those routes done consistently without their boats being sinking. So
Mm-hmm.
according to that, it said he stilled the waters, they were able to cross over. And then the southern part of Israel, which is the Judah side, traveled on over to Africa. And they were later sold out by the Hamites that were there.
Absolutely.
And that's how they were being captured and stuff like that.
Right.
And then they left and they were after they was ran out of it, you know what I'm saying? I believe, you know what I'm saying? That's how some of them got, to America, and some of
Mm-hmm.
them, were brought over by, like, that's why I say I think it's a mixture of both. But I think they
Agree.
did it like that. Like, I agree with you, it's a mixture of both, but they did it like that because they wanted us to believe that us and the Africans are all the same people, and it's not the case.
It's not. The Hamites. So the Hamites, like you said, is sub-Saharan African. So and you made a great point. So as the Israelites was scattered out of Israel, I mean, when you can just look at the map, and Africa is right there. So let's localize this. Let's think about all the cities we come from. If it was a case to where you had to give up some people, you would give up the